It's the Brian and Kindra Show with Brian Cook and Kindra Cox of Keller Williams Realty Elite.
I am Kindra Cox.
I'm Brian Cook.
Between the two of us, we have over 30 years of experience.
Sharing real estate tips and advice. Right here on Classic Hits 1073.
Welcome to the party.
Yes. Is that what this is?
I don't know. It's the Brian and Kindra Show.
Yes, this is the Brian and Kindra Show. I'm Kindra Cox with Keller Williams Realty Elite.
I'm Brian Cook with the Brian and Kindra Show.
Nuh-uh, you're the broker of Keller Williams Realty Elite.
That's right.
This is your side gig.
That's right. We had some fun closings
Can we
today.
even call this our side gig?
We can't accept it if we don't get paid for it.
This is the, hey Kindra, keep your day job.
So, yeah.
Can I keep my day job?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Except tomorrow.
I'm excited. We're going to talk about that first.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Branson, I am super pumped. So there's this fun home show thing in Enid, and I didn't know what that really meant, so I had to look at the website, and it's really all about homes and houses, and it's going to be fun. That's right down my alley because I sell houses, or I help Ryan or whatever. And then so Mike Gossett on Point Land Survey, his daughter was like, "Hey Kindra, what are you doing?" I don't even know what the date is. What's the date?
22nd.
So a couple of weeks ago, she's like, "Hey, what are you doing on April 22nd through the 25th?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You want to go somewhere?" Because I'm all about friendcations, and so locations and vacations, time off. Anyway, she's like, "You're gonna go with us to the home show." So I'm gonna pretend like I am on the survey team, and remember whenever I used to do my hashtag Kindra of all trades? Mm-hmm. Tomorrow I'm a surveyor.
Nice.
Yes,
Perfect.
it's gonna be exciting and wonderful. So I'm
You're
gonna
wear a Discover Woodward shirt while you're there?
No, I was gonna wear a realtor shirt though.
Okay, that'll work.
One of my red realtor shirts because they make me happy. It says, "For the love of real estate." Or not. If it's bitterly cold like today, man, I've been freezing today.
I can't remember if it was cold or not.
And stuff, Branson. So I started this antibiotic because I have this thing on my leg, and it's really cool. Do you want to see?
I'm good.
No? Okay.
No,
Alrighty, so antibiotic. I know, Brian's. I can't believe she said it. I've had this antibiotic before, and I've never had a reaction, but I am on fire. My earlobes are itching. Mm-hmm. My elbows, my arms. I think I'm dying. I really think I'm dying.
it's just an itch.
Yeah, it sure is.
That's like when I eat peanut butter.
Ooh,
Head to toe.
man.
So,
I don't know.
we had a couple of closings today.
You had a super exciting closing. Our sweet Cassie, she's our
Yes.
newest agent, had her very first closing.
Yes.
Tell the story, or you want me to?
It was a wild ride, but go ahead, tell the story.
Okay, let me just tell you the closing story.
Because the before story was like, fix this and fix that. And
Yeah, that's your part. Go ahead.
14-page long
La, la,
report.
la,
So go
la,
ahead.
la.
with the fun
Okay,
part.
so they worked their tails off, and even the buyers got involved helping. So the buyers, now they have some contracting experience, so that helps a little bit too. And the seller was agreeable to this. So the buyer, their lender required a considerable amount of repairs, like $7,500 worth of repairs to get it up to standard for this loan type. So the buyers really busted out a lot of the labor, which saved a little bit of money. They did not tell their kids that they had bought a house, and they are first-time homeowners. Mm-hmm. And our Cassie, this is her first closing. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, so exciting. So she said after closing, folks went and picked up kids, took them to the house, and the kids have been helping work on the house too. And so they were like, "Hey, we need some pictures." And I also have a hair in my face, and it's distracting me. So she said the parents were like, "Hey, we need some pictures to help them sell this house. We need it to look like a nice family home. Will you stand here?" And so the photographer's taking pictures. And then the mom is like, "Hey, guess what? This is your home." And they're like, "Oh, isn't that sweet?"
The pictures were really cool.
Oh, pictures. I had tears in my eyeballs. Did you?
No.
Yeah, I did. I had eyeball tears. Mm-hmm. It was sweet.
But it was cool.
So sweet and wonderful. I love it. Amanda Bronner said you brought some goodies to Woodward County Abstract to celebrate.
Yep, cupcakes.
Yay, she said thanks.
So yeah, and then it's a big house. They got a fantastic deal because they were willing to jump through some hoops and see the vision of the potential past what it was, because it was a pretty rough house. Actually, it was a foreclosure home, and the bank owned it, and it was one of those that just everything kind of clicked at the right time at the right place. And so Cassie had been looking for them a house, and we were talking, and I said, well, we're going to list this one in about a week, but we got all this work to do to it. And we just went right over and looked at it and made the deal.
Super exciting. I love it whenever that happens. Like, that's why we do what we do.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like the picture of why we do what we do, and I love it.
Yep. So,
I love it.
let's do let me do the statistics. What's fun about the statistics is I have now 12 months worth of statistics. So, today there are 70 active listings, which is up like 10% from last week. We have 6 new listings in Woodward. We've got some really decent houses that have hit the market. We've got a couple of houses that are going to have multiple offers on them probably here. I'm a little nervous about that side of the game, but
it's not our favorite part.
It's not
like,
our
it's
favorite part,
exciting
but-
for the seller, but man, we have to be super careful how
Yep.
we handle things so that because we want to use the utmost integrity.
right. And then we have 22 pending in Woodward. We closed 6 this week, not counting the ones today. So it's been a pretty good week. We got 4.92 months of inventory, but a year ago we had 79 listings, so we're still down. We had 19 closings and 6.56 months of inventory. So we're still healthier months of supply than we were last year, but we don't have the supply we had last year. But everything's coming together and things are looking good. People are out buying. The weather's nice. Summer's headed this way.
Yeah,
I think we'll see a small surge.
Can't believe I'm saying it, but I hope you're right.
I mean, I didn't feel it yesterday or the day before, but or
today.
or maybe today. So let's do a quick break. We'll be right back. Talk about closing costs. Comfort Zone is a multi-generational company serving Northwest Oklahoma in commercial and residential needs. Plumbing, air conditioning, heaters, refrigeration, sewer and drain cleaning, backhoe trencing, and crane service. And they are your geothermal specialists. Contact them at 580-254-5864 or stop by 116 East Main Street.
It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your famous recipe or spending quality time with your family. Other insurance companies may just see it as a house. It's not just a house, it's your home. Hi, I'm State Farm Agent Kevin Kanzler, and I see your home as the time and memories you put into them. I understand what your things really mean to you, and I'm here to help give them the protection they deserve. My office is located on the corner of 13th and Oklahoma and Woodward, to call me at 580-256-2216 for your home insurance today.
On Point Land Survey can take care of all your residential, commercial, and industrial survey needs. This family-owned and operated business proudly serves Northwest Oklahoma and Southwest Kansas. These lifelong Northwest Oklahoma residents with over 19 years of experience are ready to serve you with the latest equipment and capable trucks to get your job done. Call On Point Land Survey today at 580-256-6757 or at 1918 Main Street in Woodward, Oklahoma, or visit their website at onpointlandsurveyok.com. Professional, trusted, local.
This is Todd McHugh
Jackie Jones,
and Flor Castro
with Woodward County Abstract. Thank you to all of Northwest Oklahoma for letting Woodward County Abstract handle all of your real estate closing and title needs.
We provide real estate closings and title insurance for all of Northwest Oklahoma.
Pasen a verme para todas sus dudas y preguntas sobre bienes raíces. Con gusto les explico el proceso y estoy disponible a cada paso de la transacción para asistir con lo que usted necesite para cerrar su contrato.
We appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Connie Rowland in the Mortgage Department at Bank 7. Bank 7 is a full-service bank with over 40 years of combined experience. Melinda Russo and I are a dynamic duo team committed to making your loan process smooth. With a variety of loan products, we would love to sit down with you and discuss your loan options in person, or we offer online and over-the-phone application processing. The Woodward branch is located at 34th in Oklahoma. Find us online at mortgage.bank7.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Bank 7 is an equal housing lender in MLS 677297. Phone 580-254-0100, where our best investment is you.
All right, we're back, and we're going to talk about closing costs.
Okay, I think this is a tough one. And one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this, so we have a buyer that we've been working with for probably close to a month, actually. I was looking at the first time that I had typed up an offer for this buyer. And whenever we kind of got down to the nitty-gritty, and in fact, we had an accepted contract, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we
Yes.
were under contract. It was official. And he'd been speaking to a lender that he had chosen. Of course, our buyers choose their lenders.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular lender was from out of state and not somebody that we'd ever worked with before. We had no knowledge of her whatsoever. And bless his heart, he texted and said, "Wait a minute, it says this, da da da." And I said, "Well, that's what your lender said." And we had to do some checking on some things, and he said, I don't think I can do this. And so we recognized again how blessed we are with our local realtors. Yes, them too. Definitely, your local realtors are a blessing to you. Local lenders, Connie Rowland, Melinda Russo, Bank 7, of course, rise to the top and are our sponsors, and they are so good to go through closing costs and to talk about the expense of buying a home. It costs money it's expensive to borrow money.
Yes.
That's what I say a lot of times whenever I go through the contracts with the buyers is it costs you to borrow. But unfortunately, most of us need to borrow. But this young man had not been educated by his lender and about got himself into a real pickle.
Yep.
And so it really just kind of reminded us how important it is that we take a minute, pause, regroup, and remind our buyers, remind our listeners, remind everybody that there are costs associated with buying or selling a house. I mean, we have these, thank goodness that the Real Estate Commission, I can't believe I'm saying this, like all the other realtors are probably going to throw tomatoes at me or something, but thank goodness the Real Estate Commission requires for us to tell the buyers what their closing costs, sellers too, but in this instance, buyers. A lot of times I'm kind of grasping, I'm grasping at straws because every lender has different fees.
Right.
But we have a formula, and without that poor kid would have got to closing and been like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
I say kid. I've never met him. At this point, I just assume everybody's a kid.
Yeah. And it would have been. So he would have been short. There was just some, I think part of the communication from the lender, because the lender was using language like, you're going to need 3% down. Well, on a $100,000 house, that's $3,000. Mm-hmm. And then they were making comments about, the seller's going to pay, has agreed to pay half your closing costs, and so you shouldn't have much left. Which they still weren't using the right language because 3 plus the closing costs were $2,700 half. So he should have had to come with $5,700. But I think even at $5,700 he was short.
And I think the other thing that really stood out to me, I'm going back to it again. We kept trying to communicate with her, and remember Friday is whenever it kind of really was coming to a head, and you and I had a phone conference with her and with him, and we had everybody merged together on a phone call, and I said, it sounds like we need to reconvene on Monday, and she said, no, I'm going to have an answer for you this afternoon. And I just want you all to know I still haven't got a response from her.
Yeah, but
not for lack of trying.
Right. We bounced him Monday. He asked for a list of lenders. We gave him a list. He had some questions. He chose the lender. That lender quickly called back. We've dealt with them before.
Right.
We know what to expect. They know what to expect. We have never had one not close with Connie, and we've never had one not close with this company. So we if you are wanting to buy a house and you have questions about loan process, do not just get online and click buttons to get loan approval. You will be, we've had too many of those where we've had to switch them back to Bank 7 or to somebody else because they get lost in the process because they're just another number. When you walk into Connie's office, you're not a number anymore.
No, exactly. Because it's personal.
Right.
She recognizes you as an individual. You're not a number on paper. You're not a dollar sign. You're not commission. You are a person with feelings, with needs, and she wants to address those and to help you.
So this lender switched him to a completely different loan, which from the beginning made more sense anyway.
Yeah, we kept asking.
And so we bounced them to a different loan. They're not going to have to come up with hardly any money compared to the money they were last time.
I want to make that distinction.
Right, which transfers it from the seller to the buyer. Anything to close that transaction, not including your down payment.
Right. So at closing, everything is lumped together, and you're going to bring one cashier's check, one certified check to closing. Notice I didn't say cash. Please do not bring your $100 bills. Mm-hmm. And you can't use a personal check because everything has to be, or you can wire your funds,
certified,
I guess.
Yep.
So certified check or wire funds. So at that point, everything is lumped together, your closing cost and your down payment. And your loan type generally is going to determine your down payment. So an FHA loan is a 96.5% loan, so 3.5% down payment. VA is a 100% loan. There's 0 down payment. we do quite a few USDA or rural development loans in our area. Those are 100% loans, no down payment. With those 3 loan types, you as the buyer can ask for the seller to pay up to 6% of your closing cost.
6% of the purchase price in closing.
I'm sorry, yes. What did I say?
6% of the closing cost.
Awesome. That's not what I meant.
But it's a 6% of $100,000, $6,000.
Right.
And that will generally cover the majority of your closing costs. Now, one thing we didn't hit is on cash. So if you're coming to closing and you're not borrowing money, your closing costs are substantially different.
Ain't it the truth? But I want to talk about loans first.
Yes. I just want to be clear that this isn't there's all different types of loans.
It goes back to it costs money to borrow money.
Costs money to borrow money. That's the point I want you to make.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so conventional loan would be different. So we know conventional loans can be anywhere from a 3% down payment to as much as you want. So we closed one this week that was literally a 46% down payment, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember what I wrote down on my little information sheet for statistical purposes. And I think it was a 54% loan, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously on a conventional loan, you're putting down as much or as little as you want, really, depending on your lender, what you qualify for and what you can handle. And with a conventional loan, you can only ask the seller to pay up to 3% of your closing cost, which was another funny thing that happened with that particular lender that we were talking about earlier. She had originally said 6%, and we went, what? And she said, oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. With the conventional loan, it's only 3%. Yes. That's right. I'm glad we could help you. Yes. So, let's talk about closing cost.
Okay.
So, why is it hard for me? So, I have to tell you, the buyer, how much you're going to need to bring to closing. Why is that hard for me to do?
Because these lenders all have different fees.
These lenders
that give you money for a little bit of nothing. Hundreds of thousands of dollars on credit. So they all have different fees. They have different fees. So there's different underwriting fees and origination fees, different appraisal fees, appraisal management fees. There's just a ton of fees that are included in. We have lists here, but that are included in that category of closing costs.
So here's one of the things that I've noticed. So whenever I do my estimate is generally a little bit high because I don't want you to have a panic attack at the end. I want you to have a panic attack at the beginning. And I don't know what your lender is gonna charge. I don't know what your lender's gonna charge. Mm-mm. So I try to go ahead and overestimate a little bit because I really believe that a negative surprise at closing is the worst thing that can happen. So that's kind of how we start. But I have found that most lenders don't charge a bunch of fees and an origination fee. They either charge a loan origination fee, which is generally like 1% or 1.5% maybe of the purchase price, or they have a bunch of different more itemized fees. And I'm seeing a lot more itemized fees than I am the loan origination fee. Do you pay attention to that?
Yes.
I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, so like...
What do you do again?
I make the
just
deal.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Right.
So the way that Brian and I work, I do the estimate of expense and I do most of the paperwork, and then whenever the settlement statement comes in, I know that you look at it and I know that you review it. I don't know how detailed you are. I literally take my settlement statement and I compare it against my estimate, and I say this one's high, this one's low, this one's equal, this looks good, and then I send it to you and say, what do you think? You say yeah, or you question me.
Oh, look, all these check marks. How pretty. They all look the same. Yep.
Oh, I love it when they're all equal. Oh, look, Kindra got one wrong again. He gives it back with red marks and circles, the ones that I screw up on. That's not true at all. You don't have that much time to be that detailed.
I don't have any red pens.
No. That's right. They're all in my office, you guys. Okay, but for reals... so I didn't know how detailed you looked. You probably really scan it when you're at closing.
Definitely, yeah. And so all these fees, we've been through thousands of transactions. So as you look through these fees, I'm pretty comfortable looking through there and being like, oh, no, that's a little bit weird. And then you look at it and be like, oh, well, they charge more money for an extra filing fee. Sometimes our title opinions are a lot higher than they should be. So those are the things I catch, the things that don't look right.
Right.
And so... obviously, I'm not the detail guy. That's why I hire somebody.
Well, you know what? And I think that's the thing is I'm not, please don't tell Brian, but I'm not the detail guy either. Like, I'm really not. But I've learned that I have to go back and double check everything that I've already done and compare it against what I'm doing today, or I will miss it.
Right. That's how I used to do it. I used to do that. Pull my estimate out, compare them, which is the way to do it.
You're a little bit of a nerd, too.
I very much so.
How fun. So one of the things that I recognized that gets tricky with closing costs, because we show this to a buyer and there's this huge amount of closing costs, but we say closing. Some of these are paid up front. And some of these have to be paid at the time. So within 3 days, I think if I read our contract correctly, now it's saying within 3 days that the earnest money has to be received and deposited into the trust account that's noted on the contract. So earnest money is part of the negotiations. Right. So a lot of times we're writing our earnest money at 1% of the purchase price, or depending on a value, maybe $500, maybe $1,000, and that's negotiated between the buyer and the seller. So that happens immediately. And frankly, I don't like to wait 3 days. I want it immediately. I want to get it done, and I want to get moving on to our inspections. And so this was a conversation we had with the buyer yesterday, and they had commented, Woodward, our inspectors require payment, the home inspectors require payment at the time of the inspection. Termite inspections get to go on the settlement statement. Right. Not a problem. That's wonderful. But the home inspection is paid at the time of the inspection. And I pushed back. Remember, we had Kenny Snyder on here one time. And I pushed back on him whenever I first started, and I said, what? Nobody else requires anything up front. Why are you? Like, why do you think you're special, Kenny? and he was super cool to be like, here's the deal. My report oftentimes is making or breaking your deal. Right. So I need to be paid now, or I don't get paid sometimes. And it makes sense to me.
Definitely makes sense.
Absolutely. Another cost that gets paid at the beginning is the appraisal. Mm-hmm. So appraisal, generally $550. Yep. Are you starting to hear it change from that? Because for a while it was $450. Then we're up to $550.
Yep. And then the trick is then there's also the second appraisal fee on the backside, the appraisal management fee, where they come back in and check either a secondary inspection. And sometimes I'm seeing that they'll have they have the inspection fee, the second one. Mm-hmm. They'll also have a inspection management fee.
Yes.
On there, which is another fee, because we have to hire a third-party company to do the appraisals.
Yes, so appraisals real quick, because this gets tricky, and I've noticed that about the time they think everybody's kind of smoothed out and they understand how it works, then I realize nobody understands how it works. I don't even think I understand how it works anymore. So when we get the contract to the lender starts pushing out all of his orders, and so he has to order the appraisal through a third-party company. So we call them a vendor. Yeah. So he pushes out the order to the vendor, and then the vendor somehow communicates. I don't even know what that part looks like, because I thought I understood, and then this week I realized I have no idea.
They have a big spinning wheel.
Yeah, I mean, I love spinning wheels. I want to be a vendor. Hey, I get to play at the spinning wheel this weekend. Yes, for reals.
At the home show.
At the home show with On Point, I get to do the spinning wheel, and I get to play with the little kids, and I get to wear beads. I'm super excited. Okay, back to reality on the appraisals. You really should not try to distract this little tiny brain of mine. Okay, so the appraisals. So the vendor shoots it out, the appraiser picks it up, and the appraiser goes. Appraiser doesn't make contact with the buyer. Appraiser doesn't hang out with the seller. Appraiser doesn't hang out with the lender. The appraiser is absolutely autonomous. Yes. So that he or she can provide a very non-biased report and value.
Can't be negotiated. Can't be.
Right. Can't be swayed.
Yes.
And so that's supposed to be based on the data that they find available with other things that have sold. So that's how that game works. So they get paid at the time of their inspection as well, because one more time, they're going to make or break our deal.
That's right. Dang it.
Sometimes they break it.
The biggest thing is this closing cost deal. You've got insurance. Insurance is a closing cost if you have a loan. If you pay cash, it's not. But escrow accounts, building those escrow accounts, those are closing costs.
Right.
Filing fees are the deed, title opinions. You also have some after abstracting fees. So there's just a long list of fees inside this deal that make this. And when you get the bottom number, you're like, whoa, it's going to cost me $5,000 or $6,000 to buy a house.
Or more. 6, 8, 10,000.
We had one today that's $11,000 at the closing costs. It's a bigger house. It is FHA. The fees are a little bit higher sometimes. Right. But that all incorporates all the prorated, your escrow accounts for taxes, escrow accounts for insurance. You basically pay 15 months worth of insurance up front. Right. So on a $250,000 house, that could be $3,000 or $4,000 right there. Sure. So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and tie this closing. We'll close on the closing.
Homeowners and business owners, do you want to know how to extend the life of your home or commercial building? Call APC LLC in Woodward. APC specializes in installing high-quality 5-inch and 6-inch seamless guttering and custom commercial guttering. Whether it's a small system or a large system, APC can help. Call APC LLC at 580-571-2384. That number again is 580-571-2384 for all your seamless gutter needs.
Our home is usually our largest investment, and we insure it against damage. One unseen destructive force not covered by most insurance policies is termites, which can infest a house for years before being detected. Termites cost U.S. homeowners an estimated $5 billion annually in treatment and repairs. Using the Centricon termite bait system, JCP Services can protect your home from the threat of a termite infestation. Call 580-334-5380. Again, 580-334-5380.
Stop in to Modern Appliance on Main Street today to see powerful Maytag brand kitchen appliances available in a finish inspired by cast iron. Cast iron black is a hard-working, matte finish that is as tough as it is timeless, so you can trust it to help resist scratches while helping hide fingerprints and minor dents and stand up to the everyday. Add an iconic look to your home with cast iron black kitchen appliances from Maytag brand. See it at Modern Appliance, 2102 Main, or online at modernappliancewoodward.com.
For 150 years, Sherwin-Williams has been an industry leader in the development of technologically advanced paint and coatings. As the nation's largest specialty retailer of paint and painting supplies, Sherwin-Williams is dedicated to supporting both your do-it-yourselfers and painting professionals with exceptional products, resources to make confident color selections, and expert personalized service that's focused on your unique project needs. Sherwin-Williams is your neighborhood paint store. Stop by and see them, 2101 Oklahoma Avenue, or call them 580-256-5861.
Hey, can I tell you about a kitchen I can make a pie in?
Yes.
Oh, my Lanta. Most of them, quite frankly, but this one is special.
Yes.
Okay, so we took a listing today. This doesn't happen very often. 1721 Elm Street. We walked into, so Brian and I go, and we look at the houses, and then we go back to the office, and I do a comparative market analysis and say what kind of value it looks like we could list property, what it would sell at. We walk into the house and meet the seller, and like we walked in, and I had eye tears again. Like literally, they kind of started dripping out of the corner of my eyes, and I went, oh no, yeah. I love this house and I have to buy it or you have to sell it. Please sell it fast because I cannot buy this house. I love it so much.
It is so
I sat in the driveway for about 15 minutes the other night with a friend, and I was like, now listen, I cannot buy this house. So we have got to get this out. Like I got to get this out of my system. Like I love it. It has the old and it has the new, and it's gorgeous inside.
It is.
No, they're still working a little bit on the outside.
Yeah, but it's
so
still...
I want you to know that. So when you drive by and you're like, oh, no, it is worth your time. Yep. Dining room, all windows, huge. Like Mom, you could come over for Thanksgiving. It is fan-freaking-tastic.
Big closets, big bedrooms.
Wall of closets, yes.
Yeah, corner lot, close to the walking trails.
Yes.
And it's just a huge, cool sycamore
and
in the
Ethan's
backyard.
room is far away from my room. Oh, I love it so much. Brick
Maybe
fireplace.
Ethan could stay at your house, and then you just buy a new house. And then you have two houses.
Can I have a raise?
Okay. The radio show pays now. Okay.
Somebody please buy this house.
It is.
I will make
great.
your first pie in your kitchen for you.
Yep. We're also getting a new one today, Monday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, we're doing pictures and getting it all ready.
Yeah,
the
super
sellers out of
exciting.
town are unavailable, so we'll get that done. It's going to be a crazy couple of weeks. We are picking up some listings, so things are starting to heat up.
Yes, it's getting exciting.
Yes.
And I love that part of this game.
So closing costs. So the main points we want to make is
be prepared.
Be prepared. So start saving money. As the market does heat up, sellers are going to be less willing to pay closing costs. Mm-hmm. So you'll need to make sure you've got some extra money saved to purchase the home, because you may have to pay part of your own closing costs.
Absolutely.
But yes, closing costs, just a quick number, is around 5%, up to 6%. When you're doing your figuring on your purchase. So if you're doing a USDA loan, you're probably, sometimes on the USDA loans, the seller will agree to pay up to 6% of the sales price.
Right.
And then USDA is 100% loan, so you can get in with almost no money.
It's amazing, and it's so helpful to a buyer who may not have the cash on hand, but can absolutely make the payments.
But the issue is we never want somebody to be stuck in their home.
No.
We do not want it to be a burden or an anchor.
Right.
So it's always better to put a little money down so that if something happens, you get transferred, have to move, whatever the issue, big repairs pop up, that you are ready and able to fix them. So
Yes, so ask questions, and I had a thought, but it just left me.
Yeah, be prepared. And if you're looking for a home, we would love to sit down with you.
Yes, please.
We can get you in with Connie and talk to her about the process and the loans closing cost side, and make sure that there's everything you are prepared. So this is the Brian and Kindra Show, and we will be back next Thursday. If you're out in Enid, go see Kindra at the Enid Home Show, and we appreciate you guys listening.
Your new favorite, Classic Hits 107.3 KLSI Moreland Woodward. Tell a friend.